Hey guys, been a while since I made a video. I was very fortunate this past weekend. My wife and I took a little trip, and while we were out, I was able to convince her to let me stop at a couple of comic book shops that we passed on the way. Uh, on the way back uh, from our trip, we stopped at my local comic shop, Heroes and Dragons, in Columbia, South Carolina, and this is what I picked up. Got Captain America, number 42, number 43, number 44, 45, and 46. This helped fill a little hole in my collection. I've got quite a few of this series, but these were some that I needed, of course, like I said, to fill a hole. So happy to get those. These were all 50 cents or $1. Picked up Ms. Trees, Failing Detective Adventures, number 1. I've always enjoyed this series. It's by, I know, what was the guy's name? Terry Beatty. Terry Beatty is the artist, and I can't remember the guy it was who wrote most of these stories, but this is a good crime noir type book that was put out by Eclipse in the mid-'80s. If you can find some in some really cheap boxes, just pick them up and read a few. I think you'll be surprised. They're really quite good. Picked up Green Lantern number 138. Action Comics number 483. I'm pretty sure I've got this book, but if I do, it's probably the one I bought off the stand when I was a kid. So thought I'd pick this one up. If nothing else, I'm sure it'll be an upgrade. Got Action Comics number 489. I just liked the cover, thought it looked pretty cool, so picked it up. Got X-Men number 191. Division fighting Colossus, so thought that looked like that'd be pretty good. That Green Lantern annual number 7, I think. So if I'm wrong, don't quote me on this. This is the first appearance of the Black Lantern. So if it is, I was happy to pick that up on the cheap. This was an upgrade. I've got a copy of this. This is Captain America 367, but the one I've got is in pretty rough shape, so thought I'd upgrade it. I've heard a lot about this book. It's called Autumn Lands. This is, I think, the first story arc. It's called Tooth and Claw. This is number 6. Supposedly, Kurt Busiek, the guy who wrote this, wanted to do this as a Commandy story at DC, and they wouldn't let him. So he took this story to Image and created this series. I picked up number 6. Also picked up number 11. Number 12. The dog on the front of this reminds me of, if any of you are Commandy fans, it was a dog. I think he was a doctor that was in the later Commandy books after Kirby left. And that reminded me of that when I saw that. Also picked up number 13. Picked up Green Lantern from a later series, number 44. I've got 43, and this is, I think, the conclusion of that story, so thought I'd pick it up. Got Death of the New Gods, miniseries put out in the, I think, 2008. This is a interesting read. If you're a Fourth World fan, I'd recommend picking up this miniseries if you can find it on the cheap. This is it's Jim Starlin wrote it, and Jim Starlin, for those of you who are old farts like me, know that Starlin did some really good stuff with Captain Marvel in the Marvel Captain Marvel, and this is kind of continuation of that. Got JLA, Our Worlds at War, one shot in 2001. I've got some of the other one shots that they did in this story arc from the same time period, and they were pretty good. So this one was cheap, so picked it up. Got Batman and the Teen Titans, Best of the Brave and the Bold, number 6. This is a reprint of a story from the early 70s. I'm fairly certain I've got the original issue, but thought I'd pick this one up because I can read this one and don't have to worry about messing up my original. So, last book I got from Heroes and Dragons is Conan the Barbarian, number 100. I remember seeing this one of my friends had it when it came out off the stand. So I'd wanted a copy, so when I saw this one in the cheap box, I figured, why not? All right, next. My wife and I went to Asheville, North Carolina, and while we were up there, I found a little place called Hero Envy. It's on Merrimack Boulevard in downtown Asheville. This is a great comic shop. It's a small shop, but everything they have is very reasonably priced. Even their premium books, their CGC rated books, are very, very reasonable. If I had had a whole bunch of money I wanted to spend, I'd have come back with a lot from this place because everything they had that I looked at was very, very fairly priced. Anyway, if you're up in that area, check this place out. People there are very nice, and heck, they'll even knock the price down for you on some stuff. Anyway, I picked up Astro City from the very first series from Image. This is number 6. I've never seen a copy of this book. I have looked for this book for a couple of years now and just have not been able to locate it. This completes that series for me. I now have all 6. So the only one I needed, excuse me, from those early Astro City was number 1 from the following series. And I found that one too. So I could have come away with just these 2 books and been satisfied. But they had a lot more stuff, and we'll get to that, the good stuff, here in just a little bit. But anyway, I picked up a couple of issues of 52. This is number 39, number 40, and number 43. I like this series. I know a lot of people said it was dumb or they didn't particularly like it or whatever. But there's some really cool stuff in this. Ethan Van Sciver, who drew some really good Green Lantern stuff, he did origin stories in every one of these as kind of a backup. They're all really well drawn and just really cool to look at. And the stories, in my opinion, are good. They're fun reads. I mean, you can pick them up cheap, and that's what I recommend doing. Always pick it up cheap. All right, got Avengers number 68. I'm trying to complete a run, and this was one of the issues that I needed. Got Captain America from I believe it was a series from 2000, 2001, number 1. I actually thought I had this book. But got home, I had my list with me, and I got home, I discovered that I didn't. That kind of made me mad because I think they had number 2, 3, 4. They had a run of these, and the only one I got was this one. But oh well. Found Super Villain Team Up, number 4. Oh, by the way, all these books from Hero Envy that you've seen so far, other than the Astro City books, which I think I paid $1.50 for each of those. All these books were 50 cents or $1. So I've got number 4. I've got this one, but I'm pretty sure this is an upgrade for me. So I was happy to pick that up. I mean, heck, for 50 cents $1, I mean, why not? Also got number 7. I know I didn't have this one, so I was happy to get that. Again, I didn't have my list with me. I wish I had, because if I'd had my list, I guarantee you I'd have come back with a lot more, but I was kind of having to guess on some of this stuff. When you get old like me, Anyway. Got Thunder Agents from JC Comics, number 2. I'm a Thunder Agents fan. I like the old Tower comics that Wally Wood did back in the mid-late 60s. And I've got a few of those. Just great characters that I think are very underutilized. I know they just did a series a couple of years ago where DC brought these characters back, and they just absolutely it was horrible those issues were horrible. But you know, I'm a Thunder Agents fan, so I picked this one up. Anyway, got Green Lantern number 170. This is just a hole, still a hole. Got Black Hawk, book 1, Blood and Iron. I've got the other 2 books from this miniseries, and this was the only one I needed. I thought it was. It turned out I was right, so I was happy to get that. Got Avengers number 200. I've already got this one, but this was always, to me, a really cool story. And if you're not familiar with this story, well, Captain Marvel, this lady, Carol Danvers, has a child in this. And how she became pregnant with this child, I am shocked that the Comics Code Authority let this get by. If you can find this book on the cheap, pick it up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, got Fatale number 19. If you're not familiar with this series, this is a crime noir, H.P. Lovecraft, mafia. I mean, you name it. This book combines all kind of different genres, and there's a lady in it who's actually possessed by a demon. She's the main character. If you can pick this up, pick up a few issues on the cheap. Now, I would recommend trying to get the early ones first, because if you read any of the ones after the first few, you're going to get really confused, because this is a story that builds on itself over time. This is Ed Brubaker's work, and if you're familiar with him, you know what I'm talking about. Picked up Leave It to Binky, number 67. Just picked it up because it was late 60s, and, you know, for 50 cents, $1, why not? Got Captain Marvel, number 22. These early Captain Marvels, I haven't seen very many that in cheap boxes, but when I saw this one, I had to pick it up just because I like these early issues. Got Archie's Pal Jughead, 117. This just an old Archie comic from the mid '60s. It's got I thumbed through it in the shop, and it's got a lot of the fashions from the mid '60s in it, you know, and just different things. I picked it up as a why not. I mean, like I said, 50 cents, $1, you know. Combat Kelly and the Deadly Dozen, number 2. This has got John Severin art in it. It's really well written, really well drawn. I like this series. I really do. So found this one, picked it up. Got Action Comics number 388. I mean, it's got the Batmobile on the front, even though the Batmobile happens to be red, which I don't understand why that is. I guess the story will kind of reveal that. But anyway, for on the cheap, why not? Got Superman number 268. I remember seeing this one advertised in how they used to do back in the mid to early 70s. They would have a page in the DC Comics that had the books that were coming up, and it would have their covers displayed. And I remember seeing this one with Batgirl on the front, and I was always intrigued by it, and wasn't able to run across a cheap copy till then. So when I saw this, I picked it up quick. Also got Superman number 252, 100-page giant. This is a really cool book. I've got a copy of this already, but this one I can take out and read and won't feel guilty. So picked it up. And lastly, Sergeant Fury, Howling Commandos, number 21. Yeah, it's in kind of rough shape. It is in rough shape. But anyway, I mean, I bought it, just this mid-60s comic, great Jack Kirby artwork. This is just a series that I like. I really like. So picked up this issue just because, again, 50 cents or $1, why not? Anyway, that's my haul. I actually picked up a good many graphic novels and trades. I'll probably do another video of that. Matter of fact, I tried to do a video, and stupid thing wouldn't upload to YouTube for some reason. Anyway, it was over 20 minutes, but if I get a chance, I'll do that one too. But I thought I'd do the comics today. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.